Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Jones and TV, and I make videos when I feel like it.
Now this right here is not a preview of what the album gonna bring you or nothing like that.
Today I got a lacing video for y'all. It's been a minute since I did a lacing video. I feel like these have always been like like my most watched videos on my channel. Even going back to my Jones and 24 days. So it's always fun when I get to do one of these. I don't know if people just like the way I lace my shoes, or maybe just there's a hole in the YouTube market for lacing videos. But I enjoy making them. I think lacing is such a pivotal part of sneakers and wearing shoes and having your own individuality. I think there's a lot tied to lacing, no pun intended. Again, that can elevate your personal style and elevate the shoe in general. You can see I have the Jordan 5 today. This is probably one of my favorite Jordans of all time, the 5, and I didn't realize how much you don't realize how much you love a shoe until you see how many of them you have. And it was kind of like, sorry if y'all hear this, that little drip. So that little noise is, we have these old school, let me just show y'all. We have these old school little AC units. Don't mind my decorations because they're usually on here. But we have these old school AC units, and it gets, as y'all know, on the East Coast, it gets mad humid. Like when it gets a little hot and cold, and you get the condensation from the neighbors upstairs. So if you hear that dripping noise, that's what that is. But also, I have some sunlight today. You'll probably never seen any sunlight. It's because I'm doing this video at like 7 in the morning. So I just woke up early. Without further ado, we're gonna get into it. So this is how the finished product will be. I'll show you on both of these. So also I did get these. I know a lot of people didn't like these, but these are fire to me. Fire to me. And like I told y'all, you throw this on there and it's gonna be hard for me to say no. I just don't know why people were tripping. I mean, the tongue, I get it, like, and obviously if you wear cargo pants or whatever, you can cover this with like a bigger pair of pants. But I like the purple and red. It's the reason why I like the Raptor 7 so much too. And like, I don't know when purple and red became such a problem with people, especially black. But anyway, I know a lot of people wish that the base was white, like a synthetic leather like this. That would have been dope too. But I mean, the black metallic 5 is the top 3. It's not the white or the fire red. They would have had to use a different midsole because the fire red upper and the grape upper are both white, but they use the fire red midsole and then they use the grape tongue. So the base obviously had to be that black metallic, and I think they did it right. Like, I think they took the most iconic pieces from each shoe. Like, I think the grape 5, the most iconic thing you think of is the tongue, especially with that material. It's like the only one with that nylon material from that era. Obviously the black infrared or the black fire reds had the same material tongue too, but you think of this midsole and the number when you think of the fire reds, and then the black metallic 5s, you think of this silver metallic paint detail, and then you think of the black nubuck upper. So I think they did everything right. Personally, I'm a fan of the colorway. Again, I like the purple and red. I think it's dope. I think when you wear it with the right outfit, it really pops. So I'm a fan. We'll be holding on to these for a long time. Might wear them soon, but might not. But anyway, it's a fire shoe. One thing I did notice too on this pair is that they have this upper contains synthetic leather sticker. So upper contains synthetic leather. If y'all don't know, this is a synthetic nubuck, really called Durabuck. So it's like a very durable synthetic upper, and they put the same material on the black metallic 5s too. So exact same material, but I like this material a lot. I know a lot of people preferred that nubuck that was on the 2011 black metallics. I had those too, but the problem with those is, since it was like an actual, I don't know if it was an actual nubuck, it was synthetic, but whatever the top finish was, it wasn't as durable as this. So when you like accidentally rubbed your ankles together or something, this would always fade. Even actually on jeans, when you wore it with jeans, this like the top nubuck material would fade off, and I hated that because you can only wear them a few times before it started to do that. That was annoying. So I much prefer this Durabuck material to the old Durabuck material that they used on the 2011 Black Metallics. Anyway, oh yeah. Also, again, man, it's hard to disappoint me, man. When you throw those details on there, like dog. Again, I really like this shoe. Really big fan. And I'm glad I got him. So, anyway, like I said, this will be the finished product. So you can see how they're laced and how they sit in terms of the stance. I think that like this angle right here does it the most justice in terms of why I lace it this way. So you can see when you're done, you're gonna have a little bit of space, and it's gonna widen the shoe a little bit. That's the goal you're going for with these, is to widen this eye row so that it's not so tight. This is what they're gonna look like when they come in the box. And I realized recently Jordan Brand has been doing a lot of like turning the laces in, like lacing them really fast so you get this little loop. You don't want that. If your shoes look like that, like if you're walking around with these laces down here looking like this, it's not a good look, bro. Trust me, it's not a good look. You just look like you don't care. That's one thing I'll address, as well as something down here. So I'm gonna speed this up. I'm gonna unlace this factory lace. I cheated too. Like I actually laced all these myself, and then I just relaced this to make it look like factory. But I'll unlace it and show y'all how to get started. So let's do that. Okay, so now that you got them unlaced, first thing you want to do is, if you have a shoe tree in there, take that out. Take this out. Because what you want to be able to do is to sit this tongue down a little bit, so it's easier to get that. You'll see what I mean. So you can see I stopped unlacing at this point, like at this point right here, because that's how you're gonna start anyway. And the next thing you want to do is make sure that these two are lined up. So you pull all the way tight, straight up. Make sure the shoe is level on the ground, because if you're pulling more on one side or this side, you might get uneven. So make sure the shoe's level and you pull straight up until both of these match. So once they both match, then what you want to do, it's a cramped space. I need a new space to do these videos. Then what you want to do is take this. So you got to determine which side you want to go over. So I get that angle. So say like this first string that goes on the lateral side, right? Say this is my first loop. I put this here. Make sure it's flat too. So a trick that I use is, obviously you want to make sure it's going in completely straight. I'm gonna just hold it. Fuck it. So you want to make sure it's going in completely straight. And then what you want to do, and then you just want to hold your finger like this. Hold your finger, and then put pressure on it so that it stays straight, stays flat. So that's just a trick I do, so I don't have to go in and fix it every time I put a loop in. You just kind of guide it in with your hand. Next step, so you can see once this loop is here, I just, let it ride. But since this next loop is going over the top of this one, it's going over the top. And so you want to make sure that on the next one, leave a little bit of space. So once you put it in on both sides, I forgot to mention, leave a just amount of space. You don't want to pull it completely tight like this. You just want to leave just a tiny bit of space. because that gives you the width you need, and you don't have to fix it at the end. So once this goes over, then what you want to do is make sure that that happens again. So how this goes over here, you see how now this is laying over the top of this one? You don't want that. So make sure you flip it around. And the easiest way I found out that you can do this is make sure the one that goes over, make sure you put that one through first, because then you'll make sure that it does it right every time. So you pull that through here, and then what I do now is I let this sit like that. So then when I come in here with the second loop, put it through my hole, right? I don't even have to think. I can just go straight into the next one, and it overlaps. It overlaps the right loop. Again, give it some space at the end. Just a little bit of space. Same thing. Same thing. Okay, so I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna speed it up till I get to these two holes right here. Okay, now this is the most important part. So at least when it comes to Jordan 5s, this is the most important part. So this is where I like to stop my lace hole, or put my lace lock is in the second to last hole. These don't count for me when it comes to Jordan 5s. I don't lace up to here because I don't know. I just like the whole tongue to show. I like this look a lot better when it's just like this. So I don't show the whole tongue. So you pull this flap, pull this. And then what I do, alright, sorry, I had to pee mid-video. I probably should do that the whole video, but you live and you learn. Okay, so like I said, this is the most important step when you get to this hole right here. What you want to do is make sure that this lace lock, and I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure, like I usually try to yeah, I try to pay attention to the way the factory does them, but sometimes when you unlace like both, say like you're cleaning both, you kind of forget which pair slants which way. And so I'm pretty sure the right shoe or the left shoe, the thing should be facing right, like it should be slanting right, where you can see on this one it faces the opposite direction. It faces this way. Yeah, good luck with that. I can never really remember, but just try to remember how it was in the factory. So this lace lock that goes this way, you want to make sure that's on the left shoe, and make sure it's facing up. So that's the only thing. It's not supposed to look like this. I mean, you can if you want, do what you want, but I'm just telling you how to do it. So make sure it's facing up. Open the clasp. Open it up so it's like that. And then take the lace and you go from underneath. So not through the top, but through the bottom. And you want to make sure these are flat too. These just can't be curved or like this, or make sure it's in there flush and flat. And then same for the second one. Just go in the same direction. Through the bottom. Make sure it's as flat all the way. Pull them both together. Make sure it's in the middle, and then you Gucci. So what you want to do is adjust it as needed. Make sure it's in the middle. And for me, I like mine to sit over the top of these laces like that. I think it's a better look. So instead of like it going underneath the laces. If that makes any sense. Like I don't really like this look as much. I kind of like when it's sitting on top. So then last step, put these through the last holes on either side, that hole and this hole. Give it some room, adjust as needed, like I said. And then you see what I did with the tongue? I'm just pulling this up. And then what I do too is I'll put my hand in. I mean, this is where you could probably put the shoe tree back in if you really wanted to help like reform it for you. The reason why I don't do this in the beginning steps is because when you're trying to put the laces in here, if you have a shoe tree in, it's harder to like try to push the tongue down and get that leverage you need to put the lace in there. So that's why I wait until I'm done to put the shoe tree back in. But I think the thing I think is even better is just stick your hand through and then use your 4 fingers and like spread them out like so. So you just put them through here, you put them through, and then you spread them out so that you can get the spacing you need for the laces. And what you're looking for is just, you know, to get this as kind of not as wide as possible, but you're widening this out because in the factory it comes in choked up. So you just want that loose feel. So and the other thing I'll do once I'm done is loosen these from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top. Just making sure they're all spaced evenly, and then that's how you get that look. And then like I said, my last step is to just pull this forward a little bit, because you can see how it spreads everything a little evenly while also doing my fingers like this. So it's just a little motion. So yeah, man, that's basically it. And if you like it wider, you can do it wider. There's a lot of that's what she says in here, but you know what I mean. Just make sure you got them evenly spaced and make sure it's that look you're going for. And then last but not least, the last step is just to tie them up. So you can see the reason why you want to get this spaced is like well as you can. Sorry, I'm a perfectionist, like I'm anal about this. Cause I had this perfect before I did the video, but now I want to shoot it for y'all, and now it's not as nice as I would like it. But I mean, it'll do. The reason why you want to make sure these are lined up is because look at the end. When I'm done, this is what'll happen. And this happens to a lot of people, but you can see like now that I'm trying to line it up, you can see that there's a little bit of space between this one and this one. So that's why you want to make sure they're as even as possible in the front, because say they're like this when you start, they can end up like this when you're done. And you don't want that. So because it's just harder to tie and it looks crazy. So this isn't bad. This right here, like a half of a, or like a centimeter or so, that's not bad. You won't be able to tell. So like I said, last step is just tying in a knot. And you can do this on your foot too. But what I do now is I know how I like it to fit so well that I just do it when it's off my foot. I don't tie it all the way down like this, because then that's gonna make the whole middle section look bulky, and then all this is not gonna look clean. Sorry, it's not focused. But this is gonna look bulky if I tie it down here, because you can see it's choking up here. The pressure point will go here, and then this whole middle section will just look weird. So what you want to do is loosely tie here as well, and then just, you know, do a normal bow tie, or whatever you call it, rabbit ears, whatever people call it. But just a standard loop. I try to make sure that the length is a little bit basically the same with the ends and the loops. It's not as easy as it looks sometimes, but yeah, you just want to make sure that they're even so that you don't run into this, because you can get a bigger loop. Like I got a bigger loop here, I got a bigger tongue or thing hanging off here. You're trying to make sure it's as consistent as possible. And all the work you do beforehand and making sure that each side is the same length and flat, all that's going to play a part into the finished product. So again, you can tell I did much better here. It's because I was focused and not in this mindset. But anyway, that's what you get in the end. So, and the good thing with fives is when it comes to the tongue and, like, you know, tying it loosely as opposed to tying it tight, you don't have to worry about it really coming off your foot, because fives have this little gusset on the inside. They have that little spandex gusset that keeps the tongue down on both sides. So you could technically wear these without laces, like Will did in the show, and that's mainly the reason is because it has those lockdowns in there for the tongue. So yeah, man, that's basically it. One other bonus you get of the fives tying them like this is you get a little more width in the back, so it's a little more spaced out. Yeah, man, that's it. This video is getting too long, so let me know if y'all cop these. Let me know if this helped y'all. Let me know if y'all lace y'all fives any other way. I used to put the lace lock like down here when I was younger, just to be different. Sometimes I would take the clear thing off and just put the black, like Jordan 6 type lace lock. But I just don't want people thinking my shoes are fake, so I keep the whole thing on there now. Yeah, man. Again, in love with this shoe. I feel like a lot of people passed that will regret it, but anyway, I buy what I like, so I don't buy what everybody else likes. And make sure y'all like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe, comment. Go check out my other lace videos too. Especially the 7 one. That's my favorite because it's so cringy. The Jordan 7 lace video. So if y'all haven't checked that out, please do. And that's it, man. Peace. Peace.